call this meeting of the Madison School Board to order. Call the roll.
President Thompson,
Present?
Vice President Kazi,
Here.
Member Gresham,
I'm here.
Member
logged in.
Holcomb,
Here.
Member Hunt. We have a quorum.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Running around. Holcomb, seconded by Ms. Gresham. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Kazi, seconded by Mr. Holcomb. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned into executive session.
If anyone wants to grab their water.
It's going to be a long, dry one.
I'm free now, but.
flip, and then by the time I flip flop, I don't remember what I was doing, and I was like, is or push more your way?
What's up, Lewis? Yeah, she said she's okay with it now. She's kidding. I was here last year. I was here last year. Just worried
More transitions. So she is like closer proximity than
I knew it wasn't. I knew it. Okay, that's where I'm like.
Cheetos, pizza, we had a lot of parties. Yeah, before we came, we literally just came from one party. Yeah, so she was like, I'm not just came from one party.
I get it. It's not.
so I can see
It like just disappears. Yeah.
kind of just put it on the back burner, but when we get to kindergarten transition, we'll have no data, being able to kind of see but sessions, just carries them into my general ed. And I think like 20 minutes a day.
Are you guys
Just to kind of see how long people work.
So we are going to be over here right on the way.
Yeah, he didn't while I was there, but I didn't. That was also us.
Yeah, no, he doesn't attend to anything.
But you guys can go ahead and pull some chairs and then
Yes.
and then we'll start setting up.
Yeah. A little bit of progress, and he's talking to me a lot more. And now he actually says pain. I cannot sit with him. But I was
She's super sweet. She's super sweet. We had this conversation with Yolanda.
Yeah.
Well, and it's hard because you don't know what teachers should work in it, and that's where it's like, we can meet as a team. Make sure that we align that to the rest of the team. That's how our teachers are recognized.
Right. Or if like teachers with grade levels, sometimes that doesn't happen until.
Then we're like, oh, I bet it's the artist. We passed this. Totally did that. It just says number one. It didn't give a location, so that's why. And I saw her walking up to the
Yeah.
Our ours infrared. That's like the one that's in your TV. It's the same sensor in your phone. You're watching it.
Yeah, getting
It starts with an A.
very nice.
Yeah.
The first word, accelerate. What's the acceleron? So when you move, right? Like if you have a bicycle, you move it, it's
Data. I
acceleron.
think there's a lot of us that we try, like, okay, here's your goal. What data is like, what is that goal? How often do I need to collect data for that goal? What it always is like a collection.
Yeah.
Don't separate.
To where it doesn't just have a special ed teacher. No, but I really want to empower the teachers to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go.
Right.
See how it is. There's just so much.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell myself.
No.
I've got it.
Yeah, I chilled on a lot of it too. It's not worth like stressing about it. It's supposed to every day. Yes. Yeah.
At some point, they're gonna show up.
Yeah.
Her and my school year's gonna be good. For assignments for you. Right.
No, what it is
Yeah,
it's
sure, I'm getting some books. Wanted to play on your iPad all the time. It seems like there's all this stuff.
Sandra's tracking all that number.
Yeah, exactly. Got into these buildings. My boyfriend's parents. They live on that retirement like community one that you can play for $20. So we go out there. the other kid. And it's the 2 hours. Yes. Some of it's, I just try to extra that. Some of it's slow. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wait, I'm a test dummy. What's test dummy? Yeah, she did.
Yeah, we go to, yeah, we go to that driving range part. The same technology is top. Third the price, yeah. Tracer, so you can even have the last people in first spot.
And I was ready for her. And I was like, oh yeah, I just found the people. But maybe except for her, just because I used to like fight. No, he's gonna get wet. Oh, you're about to get long.
Oh, I'm sure her to play on any teams in Cassie. I moved way across there. College. Keep saying you know, face like that, like right in the doesn't get home. I think he'd be ready. Send me anywhere, Mom.
So it got fixed. It's like, well, they're already fixed it. So what is there? Well, you group every single one.
Like,
Yeah. But after that, like, within the, like, city stuff. But I can make it as much as like 8. Oh, Lord. If you don't have it, what was that? Yeah. No, make it. One through. Attack. Actually, yes. Hey, turn it. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Yeah. It is. I definitely want to be a plus. When you have the iPad, again, it's the first time. Like, it's not going to be it's early, is it?
Louise, where were you sitting?
What did you do?
And even if I am, she's my favorite too. Just like absolutely. Yeah.
Get him! I want this.
Yeah.
Legend. Stop moving now. Legend.
She makes me nervous. I think it's just the title. Yeah, and there's a couple yeah, no.
I bet you can't. I tried with you. It's good. It's been working completely right. So scary.
Oh yeah, so much.
Wait, so how are we gonna show?
They're both relatives.
Yeah. She'd be so good at it.
She's like, no. She's like, I'm not. And I'm like, all right.
I'm exhausted. Jackson, is your class following the bounce?
Yeah.
Yes. All the time. Next time I want Oh, how the table. Oh, how the tables have
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, what do you think? I was like, I don't have fun things now, so why did you like this? Well, she asked me some. She's like, well, what are the questions gonna be? She's like, I don't know. And she's like, I think I just need like part time. She's like, maybe I just want to be able to ask her to get into school to figure out what I like.
Why isn't it working?
I was like, that's fair. Because I told her, I was like, when she asked me, and she's like, I'm gonna be spots open. You're gonna have to wait till August. She's like, Mom. Like, but stuff happens. Yeah. Stuff always happens. So, yeah, let me know. So, I don't know. I think I can still. She would love it. She's very taking her heart. I love this idea, but I hate this idea. Like, she's everybody knows her kids for 4 years. So now she's like, yeah.
How are you supposed to present it?
You have to be the one who told me this.
I was trying to say that just because it's one of our artists to
Mr. Mo, you wait. It's actually no. Where do we present it? We're just gonna be like standing still. The crap, not me. So we could just change that. Crabulicious. I forgot the line.
No, you're coming to this?
have to. Forced to tag along. Yeah.
Did you see what we're presenting over this? Yeah, I did it in class. Yeah, come check it out.
No. And you start questioning yourself. You're like, yeah. Just really? So like, I'm gonna play on this side, and she's on that side.
Oh, you get to you get to pick the one.
Yeah. It's like my
I've been hearing the weirdest Thank you. I put this when yeah. Just gotta embrace it.
Right, so if we change out the wires, the next closest is with the awesome those wires.
So if they look at it, they need to
That's how we're gonna that's how we
I was like, I'll add that in my notes. Right? Please note. 8 seconds. Yeah. So yeah, she does that too, but she's But yeah, like the more elements, like here and yeah, here, yeah. And I told her, like, yeah, I was like, you're able to get retired, like, yeah. I don't care if you stay home. It might not be that problem, but you're gonna find something else. Can't go back. And like, part of like our like classroom. Oh, that's right. Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Maybe for a week. Yeah. And there was a little right. So they had like a quality person with her. You're right. Everything's so like the whole school down and everyone's like, okay. That's why it's only 2 weeks. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to survive that much longer. Yeah. Yeah. So Rachel said that she's taking her. Yeah, like it was nice
I think as long as it's just kind of that, you know, hey guys, here's where it is. You know, just like give your brain and like stand up. Hey, is it okay with you? Yeah. And maybe just, you know, let's talk about it. Yeah, okay, just, you know, just so that it's, you just get it done. Yeah, it makes me yeah, I was just gonna copy and paste it. Oh, yeah, just like easy to see it. And just text him. You didn't leave a message, so I was like, ah.
I know.
I didn't come back.
Honestly, I don't even know what about it.
Alright, well, I'm back, so if it rings a bell.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Well, I added Justin to the right. You? Okay. I added her to this actually. So everything's falling we do vendors, so like the vendors.
Yeah, no, it was super odd to me.
That's right. Yeah, because it's the outside. Yeah, I heard that in the marketing last week.
Yeah.
I was listening to it.
I think that was the other reason. Oh, hey, I already know I gotta
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be. And then I think that was just one of those, there was lots of stuff. Things that happened to people where, I don't know why I was
Thankfully,
that was above my
Solitron
head.
was very quickly. It was really just a question of our running. No worries, that was it.
All right.
Yes, it's always so helpful. It reminds me.
Okay, have your license yet? That's probably why you have this.
The others.
If the board members could come up to the dais, we're going to call the meeting to order soon.
Could we give a round of applause to our Madison Park students and Madison Park staff and Gen Tech? Really, really impressive. Thank you.
Stay for the pledge.
Stay for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Students, can you please stay?
Students, can you come up, and then in a minute we'll have you lead us.
I'm going to call the meeting to order here in just a second, but if the students could come forward, I'm going to ask you to lead us in the pledge in a moment. Call this meeting back to order. Thank you for Madison Park students, 5th graders and 7th graders, for coming to the showcase. I've reconvened the regular meeting, and I'd like to invite the park students to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing all the work that you're doing in your STEM elective class with Gen Tech. It was really wonderful to see. Next item on the agenda is presentations and recognitions. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, I'm very excited to welcome Anna Andrews to the podium to kick off our favorite presentations and recognitions.
Thank you. The You Make the Difference and Shining Star Awards are presented by the Madison District Classified, Certified, and Classroom Teachers Association and Madison Administration to recognize the certified and classified staff who truly demonstrate Madison's vision of inspiring passion for learning and leading in an ever-changing world. And our first You Make the Difference Award recipient is Caitlin Nielsen. Ms. Nielsen has always had a passion for the arts, and when the opportunity to shift into arts education arose, it was no surprise that she jumped at the chance. It was not an easy decision, but everyone around her knew it would be a perfect fit. Now in her role as our art teacher, she has carried the same dedication into an entirely new space. She has gone above and beyond to create a nurturing environment for students spanning grades K to 4. Ms. Nielsen is highly reflective and continually adjusting her instruction, improving procedures, and employing new management techniques. Her positivity and dedication now influence others beyond the walls of a single kindergarten classroom, reaching all students in all corners of our campus. Ms. Nielsen's creativity shines in every lesson, transforming the art room into a place where students learn, discovering their voices, and gain confidence to express themselves. She prioritizes engaging, encouraging, and celebrating artists of all ages, and has created a lovely classroom where students and teachers alike love to spend their time. Ms. Nielsen's transition from a passionate kindergarten teacher and artist to a dedicated art teacher has been profoundly positive for our community. She has taken her initial fervor for the arts and transformed it into a powerful, nurturing educational force. Ultimately, Ms. Nielsen does far more than just teach color and line. She has leveraged her reflective dedication and genuine creativity to establish an environment where every student, from the youngest to the oldest, feels empowered to discover their voice and express themselves. Her comprehensive and joyful approach ensures that the art room remains a vibrant source of inspiration and confidence building, leaving a lasting positive impression across all corners of our campus and confirming that her shift into arts education was indeed the perfect fit. Absolutely. Come right over here.
Sorry. Do I go here?
Yep, but you gotta shake hands first. Shake hands, shake hands.
Okay, thank you. Go first.
Now everybody else knows what to do.
Now,
Now.
We're not clear.
Don't drop it.
And Caitlin, would you like to say something?
Sure, I'd love to. Being from Chicago, I really found a home in Madison here in Phoenix. I taught first grade and kindergarten in the Midwest, and coming here was a little intimidating, but I've been at Madison now for, I think, 7 or 8 years, and I plan on staying here forever until I'm done teaching, which, you know, honestly, I feel like teaching art, I've been like re-inspired. I've done kindergarten for a while and I love the littles, but I have this new sense of love and passion for teaching moving into this new exciting content. So I'm just so thankful for my admin. I have amazing admin. I'm thankful for my family for supporting me, and I'm thankful for the Madison School District. Thank you.
Do you have anyone in your family?
I do. I have Bram and my partner Eric with me. So thank you for supporting me, boys. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And our next You Make the Difference Award recipient is Jennifer Sokolis. It is with great pride that we recognize Jennifer Sokolis as the recipient of the You Make the Difference Award from Madison Park Middle School. Jennifer has served as a dedicated social studies teacher at Madison Park for the past 3 years, most recently teaching 7th and 8th grade social studies along with Reach Social Studies. During her time at Park, she has made a lasting impact on both students and colleagues. Her passion for education and her commitment to continuous growth are evident in everything she does. Jennifer is known for her willingness to dive into new challenges and her ability to inspire those around her with her collaborative spirit and innovative mindset. Beyond her classroom, Jennifer contributes meaningfully to our school community. She's an active member of the Site Professional Council, providing thoughtful input and leadership in school-wide decision-making. Over the summer, she worked with the Ruler team to design and develop social-emotional learning lessons specifically tailored for social studies teachers to implement each Wednesday. Her work has strengthened our SEL curriculum and provided meaningful, relevant experiences for our students. Jennifer consistently seeks out opportunities to improve our school by identifying solutions, sharing creative ideas, and embracing new strategies that address the evolving needs of our students and campus. Her positive attitude, professionalism, and drive to make a difference exemplify what it means to be an educator who truly cares. For her dedication and lasting contributions to Madison Park Middle School, we are honored to celebrate Jennifer Sikolis as our You Make the Difference Award winner.
I am very thankful to Madison. I felt like I have grown more being here than I have in the past 2 school districts that I've been at. I'm thankful for my students. Some of them are here for keeping me on my toes. And constantly challenging me. And it's been really great, especially working with like the REACH students and kids that are smarter than me, being able to teach them and being able to work with all the great like district board members, parents, all the great, and admin also, all the great people here. So thank you. Thank you to my son who's here. Had to go run and get him before I came here. My husband would have been here, but he is currently closing Home Depot by himself, so he couldn't come. But they are both very supportive and help me out, especially on like weekends and nights when
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and our first Shining Star Award recipient this evening is Lonnie Grandeles. We are so proud to recognize Lonnie for her incredible dedication and heart as a teaching assistant. Each and every day she shows up with a smile, ready to support our students with kindness, patience, and love. Her gentle presence brings comfort and joy to those around her, and her unwavering support makes a lasting positive impact in our classroom community. She is a foundational element of our daily success, consistently offering a warm and stable environment that allows our students to thrive emotionally and academically. Lenny's impact reaches far beyond the immediate tasks of assisting with lessons. She is a true model of compassion for our entire school family. Her commitment ensures that every student feels seen and supported, whether they need a quiet word of encouragement or extra help mastering a challenging concept. We are truly so lucky to have her professionalism and spirit within our walls, and our students are even luckier to benefit from her daily genuine care. Thank you, Ms. Lonnie, for all you do to make our classroom a welcoming and effective place to learn.
No, I don't mean no worries. We don't fight.
I just want to thank my team. I don't want to hold that. Okay.
They can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, and I appreciate this. Oh, thanks, babe.
All right, and our second Shining Star Award recipient is Cassie Gloria Valdenegro. We are very proud to recognize Miss Cassie as a shining star at Madison Park. Miss Cassie is our 5th through 8th grade special education paraprofessional. She has worked at Park for the past 2 years. Miss Cassie is passionate about her students and works closely with her colleagues to develop a classroom environment where students feel safe, supported, and are eager to learn. She has great rapport with students and staff. She is always proactive during student supervision, ensuring the safety of students during playground activities. She is a team player and goes above and beyond her job duties in so many ways. Beyond the classroom, Miss Cassie helps to support our cooking club after school, and soon she will be coaching our cheer team. Miss Cassie is truly a shining star and is dedicated to successfully helping to meet the needs of all students.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Nope, you don't need it.
I want to thank my family for being here first off, and my daughter and my coworkers. Thank you. I appreciate it. I can't do my job without you guys. You guys are amazing, especially Miss Monhay. You make everything amazing. Thank you, Miss Gossett and Miss Galindo. I love coming to work. You guys are amazing. But yes, it's been a good experience working for Madison for like what, 6 years now.
Wow.
Yes, and then I'm excited to do cheer. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
experience. I'm ready for it, but thank you. Oh, well, I've only coached 3-year-olds before, so it's a big change. But thank you, I appreciate it.
Before we move to the superintendent's report, I just want to thank the students and their parents who came today. We had Dylan, Luis, Catherine, Addie, Seth, Mason, Everett, Adam, Justin, Marcus, Yasmin, Seren, Ariana, and Aria who came today. Really appreciate all of them showing the work that they're doing at school. Dr. Guerin, your superintendent's report.
President Thompson, Vice President Kazi, members of the board, cabinet, and guests. Yes, I was very impressed with how the students did today, and it was really fun to ask them how they persevered and what their biggest challenge was and how rewarding it was to create something like that. And the explanations in detail were very impressive. So amazing with the Park students, really great. Did you know that last week was Parent-Teacher Conference Week? Thank you to our staff for the longer hours last week as you met with families to support our students. Thank you to the families for your partnership and support of your child's teacher and their school. And thank you for all the parent organizations and community organizations that fed our staff during those longer hours. Strong, open communication between families and school staff is just one of the special ingredients that makes the Madison School District so unique. The Madison Center for the Arts opened the new season with the show One Night in Memphis. The music was incredible, and it was just such a great time. I brought my mom, and she knew every song. I knew about 50% of the songs, but it was quite an event, so congratulations to the Madison Center for the Arts. Also today, hundreds of Madison students attended a student matinee. It was called Shelley Morning Song, and she is one of New Mexico's finest native performers. Her husband and musical partner, Fabian Fontanelle, adds Northern Plains traditional style dancing, storytelling, and drumming. And I was able to observe the dance of the eagle, and it was really, really magical. Last Friday, I attended the Farmers Market at Madison Park, hosted by our own Food and Nutrition Department, where middle school students were able to try locally grown, fresh produce prepared in exciting new ways. My favorite were the zucchini chips. Thumbs up. We have a job fair tomorrow, October 29th, from 4 to 6 in our governing board room. So if you'd like to learn about the Madison family and potentially joining, please join Dr. Lomeli and her team. Last night, I attended one of our gifted speaker series hosted by our own gifted coordinator, Elizabeth Warner, with special guest speaker Karen Brown. Both are national leaders in the area of gifted education. If you're interested, there are 2 more in the speaker series. Please call district office for more information. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. It is time for Discover Madison. Friday, November 7th, 2025 is for our littles Discover Kindergarten on. So please join us. For families interested in learning about our elementary programs, you can go to our website, get more information. Spots are filling up fast, so please enroll quickly. Discover Middle School. Our numbers are up from last year from Discover Middle School. We're very excited. It's the second time we're having this, and that's on Friday, November 14th. So if you'd like to learn more about our middle school programs, please sign up for that tour. You will get to go to each site and learn about the unique signature programming and what makes each Madison school special. That's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Guerin. We'll move on to board reports. Let's start with you, Ms. Gresham.
Okay, thank you. I always say congratulate the award winners tonight, but I want to be thanking them because for all they contribute and do for our students and everything. So it's really nice to get to meet them, and we really appreciate it. And of course, to our park students who came tonight, it's always fun to play with all their gadgets, and I'm always afraid I'm going to break something, but what really stood out to me was the ones I talked to were so excited and passionate about what they were learning. So that was really cool to see. Let's see, I finished up my coaching duties this past week. So fall sports done, check cross country off the list. I was shocked when I added it up. I think I've been coaching for like 10 years now, number 1. Just seems wild. Yeah, thank you. You win some, you lose some. So we don't win every year, but and then lastly, I was super fortunate. I came to the Shelley Morning Song performance this morning. It was really nice, and they had a really nice message at the end. She's amazing. Apparently she's won multiple national and international awards. So we are so lucky that we get to have those, and I just hope the students probably don't realize right now, but eventually someday they'll realize how fortunate they are to get to have these performances. And I tracked her down after the performance and got to chat with her for a little bit. So that was really cool, and she was really impressed by our auditorium and our programs. So I'm really glad I got to go to that. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Kazi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Truly lovely to learn from the students tonight. They were so engaged with what they were doing. There was a student that mentioned that she wants to be a vet, but her backup is programming. And I was like, well, you have some great options going on, honey. But I brought to mind that this Friday I will be going to the senior thesis of an ASU Barrett student who was also a Madison graduate, who started as a computer engineering student, but her love of art I think she was reminded of it junior year, so she's double majoring and using art and technology. So it's just, there's so many opportunities today to be combining those STEM fields with a variety of others. So I'll be going to see her interactive art tech senior thesis exhibit. So again, it's just, I think, a great example of what we're teaching these students today will help them as they start their journey in discovering what it is they want to do to help make the world a better place. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited about spending a day with kindergartners. I think I could have used that today. So I'm very excited about November 7th and Discover Madison. Hope it sells out because I just think it's such a unique opportunity for families to, in a very hands-on way and with their children in tow, get to experience all that we have to offer. I was able to attend the Teacher of the Year event a few Saturdays ago at the Madison Center for the Arts, and once again, I think our venue just continues to show the rest of our community that it is the place to have an event. It just was an extraordinary event, but certainly the place made it in my mind. And then finally, I just want to thank all of the our superintendent, our district leadership and staff, our school leadership, our classified, our certified staff for showing up every day despite the craziness of the world, and providing that exceptional educational opportunities to our students. It really is extraordinary, and again, once again, we're reminded tonight by seeing what they're doing, and that happens only because of the work that you all are doing. And finally, just a bit of care out to teachers this week. I was told by a student today that it's not Halloween anymore, it's Halloweek, which was news to me. So good luck, and I'll be thinking of you on Friday.
Thank you, Ms. Kazi. Mr. Holcomb.
Yes, I want to echo what my fellow board members said about the presentations. One of the things that struck me as I was talking to the students from Camelview about their robot, which is way cool, which is BattleBots, which is one of my family's favorite things to watch. But they said, you know, it was really hard and challenging. And I said, and it was really fun. You know, I think they're learning, part of it is too, is that the challenges that they have is what also makes it interesting and fun to do. And I want to congratulate the Camelview and Park for what you're doing, particularly for instilling STEAM into these kids. Not only their learning, but I think really their culture and their personalities, and that's great. I also thought it really showcased one of our partnerships with Gentech that comes in, and it's an innovative thing for Madison, but it's innovative because they enable us to be able to consistently provide that high tech experience for our kids, even when a teacher's not available. The way they've structured the program is really phenomenal. And it's also great to see the Madison. I unfortunately couldn't get to go to the show, although I had tickets. My secretary went, and her mother went there. She said she cried because when Johnny Cash sang one of the songs, her mother, it reminded her of her late husband, and she just cried. And I heard Elvis was giving out kisses. It's unfortunate. Last time that show was here, I stood up and I almost got Carl Perkins to kiss me because he said first one to jump up to dance, well, he would give a kiss to, and I was first, and then he shook my hand. But I also want to congratulate the Madison staff. There was we got sort of torpedoed that show by another venue after we announced the same show, and the tickets were not, the tickets were a little slow, but they really went out and beat the bushes, and I understand we had about 500 people at the show. That's a phenomenal effort on their part. I want to congratulate them on making that extra effort. And then to all our families, have a very safe and happy Halloween. It's a wonderful time. It's a wonderful time of the year, but do be safe. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Holcomb. I'll be brief. I love having all of our students come back and show the board, kind of show off what's happening at each one of our schools, and really appreciate the team at Park bringing those students today. They were also engaged and excited about what they're learning. Some of them, it sparked an interest of something that they want to do in the future. Others, it might not be, their primary thing, but it could be a backup plan, and that's great too. So really want to thank the entire Park team and the students again for coming today, and looking forward to the other highlight nights that we'll have later throughout the year. Want to echo that recently we had quarterly awards at each of the campuses. So I want to congratulate all the students who are recognized either for their recognition based on their activities as far as their ruler achievements or their academic achievements. My kids got in the car last week and were just raving about how much fun the farmers market was. So I want to thank the Ms. Cece and the staff at Park for putting that together. I know that was a lift. And also for the students, I think the NJHS students and some students from Highland Prep helped volunteer there. So thank you to them for volunteering to make that happen. I also attended the speakers series last night. For those who weren't able to attend, I believe they said it was being recorded, so there still is an opportunity to listen to that. I know there were a couple of things that I learned last night about my own kids, like, oh, so that's why they do that. So it was a wonderful opportunity, and so grateful that we have not only those resources here in Madison, but we can bring outside resources in as well from across the state. Also want to congratulate all the students who were doing fall sports. Not only are they keeping up their academics and doing well in school, but that extra added activity is a challenge, and want to congratulate them for finishing. And I think we have winter sports tryouts coming here, I think next week. I know at my middle school we've got it next week, and I assume at the other schools we'll be having that and moving into the winter sports season. So thank you to all the coaches who are giving the time to our students to do that work as well. With that, I'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there anyone like to take anything off, or is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Causey, seconded by Ms. Gresham. Please vote.
I would like to add that I'm super excited for the Elton John Soul Source performance. That would be awesome. And it's on my birthday.
Nice. Motion passes unanimously. Our next item on the agenda is call to the public. Pursuant to board policy, time has been set aside for a call to the public. This is an opportunity for individuals to address the entire board in a public setting to express their views or concerns. State law limits our ability to respond to comments made during call to the public. However, we do hear the remarks that are made and ask the superintendent to follow up and provide us with information regarding based. To keep us on schedule, each speaker has no more than 3 minutes. Ms. Humphrey, I don't believe we have anyone today for call to the public.
We have no calls to public.
Okay. Moving on to next item on the agenda, we have a number of board policies to first read. Dr. Garrett.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, it is board policy season. I'm happy to kick that off. And so for 8.1 and 8.2 first reads, I'd like to hand those over to Dr. Lomeli.
Thank you, Dr. Guerin. Madam President, members of the board, cabinet. The policies that I'm bringing forward, the first one is policy GCQF, discipline, suspension, and dismissal of professional staff members. This policy is being amended to include new guidelines for districts requesting information about allegations of misconduct by an employee. So it spells out how we can get that information from the Department of Education. The next policy is policy GDFA, support staff qualifications and requirements. And this policy is being revised to incorporate clarifying language regarding individuals that are required to obtain an identity verified fingerprint clearance card, the IVP card. And it also removes language that references that requirement for bus drivers, because that is actually spelled out in a separate policy for bus driver qualifications. And those are the two policies that I bring forward for first read. And if you have any questions, I can.
Any questions, Ms. Gresham?
A quick question, thank you. So I noticed on this one, the second one, that fingerprint clearance, on item D, it talks about charter schools. I'm just wondering if we need that in there, or why, this was probably a model, but do we need to have that charter school reference, or?
I can take that back and review that and see if we could just leave that out.
Yeah.
That's the recommendation that we received.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yes, Ms. Causey.
I mean, I know we don't manage Madison Highland Prep, but I think probably having a policy that maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they have their own set of policies, but they are on our campuses, so just might be a good practice.
Any other questions from board members? I had one question. I think it's related to the modifications to 8.1. It's kind of more of a statement, but just a confirmation. I know that from my days at the State Board of Education, there are abandonment of contract or leaving employment in the middle of a contract is considered potentially disciplinary. There can be action taken against someone's certificate, but I also know that one of the practices that's often used by school districts is liquidated damages clauses in lieu of making those allegations at the state level. So just wanted to confirm that that was our practice.
It is our practice. We do assess liquidated damages, and we also do make a report. The revisions to policy GCQF would allow us, when we do hire employees and we're checking background, to obtain information as to why a prospective employee might be under investigation. So that new language allows us to get that information, which we don't always get now. We can't just ask for it.
Wonderful. I appreciate that because I know that the state board in the past has taken into account whether to take action against someone's certificate based on whether or not they had a liquidated damages clause or not. But us being able to report that and also have access to that information by inquiring about that when we're making a hire, I think is important. So thank you for that. Yes. Are there other questions? Yes,
One
Ms.
more
Gresham.
real quick, sorry, on 8.1, the first one. So this new section applies to all employees, not just certified, right? It's just
That's
any staff?
correct. In Madison, we do require all of our staff to have an IVP fingerprint clearance card. And as we do that, we do report all of our employees to ADE. And so if there is a situation where an employee's card is revoked for any reason, or if there's any kind of a report, their fingerprint clearance card is now tied to them being employed with us.
Thank you, because obviously they're around our students as well. So.
Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Dr. Lomeli. Next item, Dr. Guerin.
Yes, 8.3 is mine. EA, support service goals, priority objectives. This is some minor language changes in policy AE. Original language in A and C was updated, and original language in B regarding transportation was removed, just as in Dr. Lomeli's policy, and put in a different section for transportation. So just some minor changes. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, I believe that these will come back for a second read at our next meeting or at a future meeting. Item number 9.1, Bond and Override Report. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, it is time for our annual Bond and Override Report, and I'm happy to turn it over to Assistant Superintendent Thompson.
I'm going to stand up because I don't have a clicker. so where's it? Oh.
Or you could sit back down.
Oh, okay, all right.
It was just hiding from you.
No, once you've stood up, you got to stand.
Either way.
It's part of the wellness program. I've got to be on a little exercise. Thank you. Good evening. So at the last board meeting, I shared with you my favorite report. So here's our second favorite report. And it's my second favorite report because this is a report that really shows the support of our community. And I want to celebrate that Madison has had a long history of community support, and we're going to see just how much of that here in just a moment. So without further ado, it's now not.
It's just messing with you now. Took the batteries out for the wellness.
All right, there we go. See? It didn't like that I moved. Okay, so our first item is the M&O override. So 15% of our state formulary budget for maintenance and operation, our voters allow us to increase by another 15%. The items you see there are what we provided in the pamphlet and what we share with the community as to why we need these funds. To put that in context, 67 teachers. And can you imagine Madison without 67 teachers? We would not be providing the kind of services, the kind of education, the kind of opportunity that you saw here this evening, right? As well as, you could also think of it as just every employee taking a 14.6% pay cut, because that's the kind of funding this is bringing to our district. I share that with you because the override gets blended into our budget. And while I could show you like individual items, I think it's more impactful to understand the general impact that it's having on the budget, right? This is the 2019 bond. We are getting close to completion of those expenditures. As you can see, we still have a little bit left in each category, and I will be meeting with staff to work through that. That has really allowed us to do so much work. So some of the highlights are the Madison Park rebuild, classroom technology, Meadows Gym, safety measures like the MAC entrances, right? These are the things that wouldn't be possible without this generous support of our taxpayers and our community. So really critical infrastructure, health and safety items, furniture, playground equipment, buses. I have to share a quick fun story. So the picture you're looking at, that is the beginning of the park remodel. There was this really ugly car in front of the picture. So I threw it into AI and said, take out the car. And then 5 seconds later, the picture came back and there was no car. So yeah, it's just amazing what you can do nowadays. It's a little scary. I started telling people if they had, exes or somebody in their pictures, they could probably just start eliminating them from all their family pictures. It's like really scary what you can do with this, but this was kind of fun. So we do have the 2023 bond now coming on. We don't really have any expenditures to show for 2025 because everything was really in a planning, but that project is well underway, as we can see here. And those expenses will be hitting very soon, very quickly here in this school year. So while there's nothing to show on the books, there's plenty to show out in the dirt, and we're very excited about the progress that's been being made on that project. And then finally, we have the capital override, or what's now called district additional assistance, which was supposed to mirror charter additional assistance, but isn't funded at the same level. Just had to point that out, sorry. So this is also allowing us to really provide the kind of resources. What's unique about capital overrides and the need there is that it's the only area that really can address those things that you see really highlighted: library books, textbooks, things you would think are very critical, and they are allowed in our regular capital budget, but they're also competing for all the other needs for our buildings and all the other needs for our capital needs. So this extension of our capital budget just allows us to go a step further in providing these resources to our schools. And with that, that is our capital bond override report. Very excited to share that with you and thank the community so much for the wonderful support and generosity that they've provided to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Are there any questions from the board? Any questions? I just want to also thank the community for their support of these bonds and overrides over the years. Not only do our bonds and overrides generally pass, they pass with great margins. I think that's in no small part due to our transparency as a board and work that our district does to communicate effectively with our communities and let them know about the return on investment they get from investing in our school districts, and really how critical all of these funds are to the operation of our district in the excellent manner and providing the excellent services we do provide to our students. So thank you to the district team for effectively and appropriately using these funds, and also thank you to the community for your ongoing support. Yes, go ahead, Ms. Kazi.
I just want to say thank you again to Mr. Thompson for the report, and just note that this term override is a misnomer, and I think was created by the legislature basically, and I was just explaining this to a neighbor because they were trying to figure out how they wanted to vote on their ballot. This term it's basically capital and M&O, which is operations, but it's basically the amount of money that we're allowed by statute to use from property tax, local property tax, for supporting our students and our budget. And we have to ask our voters every 3 to 4 years, are you sure you still want to give us this money? And so our voters have consistently said, yes, we do. Why are you asking again? We're required by law. But I think it's always, the more we can remind people that these dollars are used for teacher salaries, they're used for curricular materials, for Chromebooks, for the things that make learning possible. They are critical, and I loved the information you shared and putting it into actual tangible terms. 67 teachers, 15% cut if we were to lose our M&O override. Really important things to remember, and I think the more we talk about this and remind people in a time where people are saying no new taxes, this is not, I think it's important. The more we educate, the more we make people aware, the more people understand why these are so important for all of us. Thank you.
Yes, add just real quick to that. Thank you, Mr. Thompson, also for these. You do a great job of putting these in context. So in addition to what Ms. Kazi, thank you for explaining that. So DAA is district additional assistance, but let's clarify that it's not additional assistance, as Mr. Thompson alluded to. It's our regular funding for these essential items. So just to piggyback on Ms. Kazi and clarify that as well. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the shared responsibility between the state and our taxpayers, and unfortunately our state does not fund at a level where we don't have to go to our taxpayers and ask them to make up the difference. We are very fortunate that our taxpayers have been willing to do that for so many years and are grateful for that as well. Also want to point out that 15% or 67 teachers is about the size of a school. That's not small, just for size and scale. Next item on the agenda, ASBA revised bylaws. Dr. Guerin, do you want to kick this one off, or would you like me to?
Well, President Thompson, we nominated to kick this off in Board Member Hunt's absence, so if you are all right with that.
I will take this one since Mr. Hunt abandoned us to go hunting. I will take this one. As presented, ASBA is proposing some changes to their bylaws. I think they made, they proposed some changes last year that were not adopted by the membership. Included in the materials and in front of us on our desk is both a letter that outlines the changes that have been made, a memo of the proposed changes, and also a red line version of the bylaws. I understand, Ms. Kazi, since you are in leadership at ASBA, you're going to recuse yourself from this vote, but hope you can also answer some questions that the board might have as related to any conversations that went on as these were adopted by ASBA to present to the membership. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to tackle?
No,
Mr. Holcomb, go ahead.
No questions. Really, the bylaws seem to be effective clarifications that hopefully make the organization run even smoother. And so I have no reason to vote against, to vote against these or offer that they should be changed in any way. I think it's a step forward.
Do you have any questions? Or I did have a couple issues to point out. One of them is related to hiring the executive director. I had hoped after some of the challenges that ASBA had experienced, they might have made note that maybe it would have been smart to ensure that the executive director was not serving on the executive committee or being clear about that. I don't know whether you have to say, they have to relinquish their position on a governing board necessarily, but it does create some conflict, and I wish they had put something in there about that. Secondly, I think one of the issues related to membership, and Ms. Kazi, maybe you can help me with this as I try and follow the bouncing ball. Right now it says the governing body of the association shall be a board of directors consisting of officers, one representative from each of the counties in the state. It strikes the word except for Maricopa and Pima counties, which are allotted 2, and replaces it with language. It says counties with populations of over 500,000 shall be entitled to 1 additional representative. I guess that gets Maricopa and Pima both to 2, but for other counties, which I know are close to reaching that 500,000 limit, it will give them.
I believe Pinell County will qualify and have a second delegate on the governing, or on the board, yes.
Yeah, I think that's consistent with, if I'm remembering way back from when counties went to merit selection of judges in statute. It's a close mirror to that. What other question did I have? I did have a question, Ms. Kazi, if you can address it. There's a section somewhere in here about removal from office. Oh yeah, 9.3.
What section are you looking at?
9.3. It's, well, section 9.
Yes.
Any officers, directors may be removed by 2/3 of a vote of the board of directors, which honestly makes some sense if you have someone who's doing something that's inappropriate, or they've had some conduct that's deemed detrimental. I think that's important. But I'm curious as to this with the county school board members, with consultation of the county school board member, that language. I'm thinking that might be relevant if they're the county representative, but if you're talking about an officer, are you talking to their county? It seems worded awkwardly, I guess, is my point. Because if, for example, Ms. Kazi, someone had an issue with you, would there be a need for them to talk to the county rep, or as having been elected by the whole membership into a leadership position? I wouldn't think you'd want to take that into account. Do you see that? I think there's some wording issues with that one.
I have to be honest, this section did give me some heartburn, but I mean, obviously there are times when you have items in bylaws and times you have items in your policies, but the governance committee chose to include this in the bylaws.
Okay. Yeah, I think that there's some lack of clarity in here about, there are things that would be much more clear if you could put it in the policy, right? Like hearing and due process, and what do all those the terms of art mean in the case of this that aren't necessarily pointed out here.
Well, but I would think those are things that you have once you have this, you adopt like
Right.
ours, you'd adopt a policy there to implement what is the
Right.
hearing and the due process.
Yeah.
But so that I think I think it's going to be 2-part. You have this in the bylaws and says, okay, you need that, but that, to me, this is an appropriate way to approach it.
I would just hope that they would have said something like an as outlined in policies, right? So that there is a reference that it might be in the bylaws, but they're going to need to adopt a policy, because you and I know that would be the right way to do it. But just because it's the right way to do it doesn't mean that they will actually adopt a policy later to implement those things. So, okay. Any other questions or concerns with the bylaws?
Would you like a motion?
We need a motion.
I move to approve the as-but revised bylaws as presented.
There's a motion to approve the bylaws as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Please vote. Okay, motion passes. Next item on the agenda, superintendent's goals. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, Vice President Kazi, members of the board, cabinet, and guests. I am pleased to present my goals for the year for the board's consideration and seek your approval. So the performance goals for the year. First of all, it is as my role to report to the board in a public meeting with possible recommendations for action, a report dealing my action steps taken to accomplish my goals. So this is what I'm doing tonight. I'm presenting my goals. So the first slide, I wanted to talk about some highlights from last year. So last year I had goals. We met in May, but I thought as all the results started coming out, it's really important to highlight some of the wins of the district. So one noteworthy event is the percentage of K-4 students meeting reading proficiency targets increased by 5%. From 63% to 68%. And actually, this really has a lot of work behind it, this data point, because our K-5 teachers were required to go through a 2-year process to achieve a reading endorsement. And it was quite a lot of work. There was a long period of time that districts could tackle this work, and I really want to applaud Educational Services for their proactive stance on this and the supportive way we were able to work with the association and provide a high level of support for teachers to get this endorsement. So to see a 5% increase, which is not typical, really it is above average to get this much of increase from our reading proficiency targets. I believe it's because our classroom teachers now have the skill set of a reading specialist and can bring that to every student. So this statistic is very noteworthy because all of the work and expertise behind it and all of the leaders, the principals, assistant principals supporting that learning. And we made it a part of our professional day and our early release on Wednesday, and there were Saturdays and all of the things. So we'll continue to see this work forward. I'm also very excited to keep track of our middle school reading proficiency, because we know that if we can get students to reading level in elementary school, particularly by 3rd grade, their middle school outcomes will be tremendously impacted. So this is very important data. The other thing I wanted to bring up, that the percentage of parents either satisfied or very satisfied with their child's school as measured in our annual family survey, and also increased by 5% from 83% to 88%. We have really focused on employee wellness and offering opportunities. We want to support our employees. We want to retain them. The happier they are, the more supported they are, the more they're going to bring to our students, and we more than doubled the number of employees participating in our wellness programs. And we have about 800 to 900 staff members, so 432 participants is quite significant, and I really appreciate all the work that was done in administrative services. The percentage of both, and HR of course, percentage of both families and staff that agree or strongly agree that their schools provide a safe environment for students and staff increased by 6% for families and 3% for staff. So we saw an increase, how we've communicated our emergency operations plan. Assistant Superintendent Thompson just talked about some of the physical safety features. So it is the planning, it is the prevention, it is the communication and the training and the trust. There's so much that goes into this data point, and I think you'll continue to see this as we continue to move along, enhancing our security measures. Last thing I wanted to note, Mr. Pienkowski will present our AASA scores at the next board meeting in November, but Madison is in the top 10 of all districts in Maricopa County for math proficiency as reported by AASA. So wanted to have that reading highlight and that math highlight, as well as some of the district perception data as highlights before I jump into my goals for this year. So of course, student achievement is our primary focus and responsibility. We need to plan, implement, support, and assess our instructional program so that every student can reach their full potential. So key areas of focus by leadership and the teachers is something called Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions. You'll see Tier 1 is what typically happens in a classroom. Tier 2 is also in the regular classroom, but it's teachers providing individualized responsive support that meets the individual needs of students. So that response to the intervention to make sure that they catch up. Tier 3 is usually bringing in a specialist, and in most cases in Madison, we push into the classroom for Tier 3 as well. What is unique about this bullet point is that we're doing this at the middle school level, and that is unique because of the schedule and the class period rotation. It is a little harder to provide that individualized targeted support, and we are doing that. And so it takes a lot of creativity, problem solving, and extra work with the teachers and staff and leadership. So I really appreciate that. As I talk about my goals, I like to think of how we're tackling all our goals as a three-legged stool. We've got my goals and the work of the strategic plan. So we've got my goals, the strategic plan work, and the school integrated action plans. Those are all aligned. My key performance indicators are all based on strategic plan work and school integrated action plan work, because you should all see them come together to have the significant outcomes that we desire. We are still concerned about chronic absenteeism. It is a nationwide concern. So when we know students miss more than 10% of the school year, and we have students that it just seems like after COVID, regular school attendance became less of a focus. And we understand that there's a lot of challenges. And so we want to remove barriers for families. And we want the students to just want to come to school because they're known and cared for and know people will miss them and they can't wait. You saw the excitement of the park students today. So chronic absenteeism is something that we all have to tackle together because we need our students in school for them to achieve their full potential. We are very proud of the inclusive teaching practices in Madison, where so many of our services are happening in the regular classroom. We understand if students are pulled out and miss regular classroom instruction, the research shows that they will never, in fact, catch up, that they need to receive that Tier 1 instruction and also the additional supports, and that will bridge the gap. Very proud that we are now, and of course, Keisha Breeling is in the audience, leading the work into our preschool program, very innovative programming. Others are coming to visit our programs because this is not typical that we're doing this work, and we hope to see results in kindergarten, primary, and all the way through. We have such strong early childhood programming, so really it's a unique opportunity in Madison to do this on a larger scale and have direct impact. The next slide. Communication. Whenever we look at a survey, we have communication as a strength and communication as a weakness. Communication is a tough nut to crack, right? So we are really excited about the launch of Parent Square. So I want to thank the communication department for all of their work on this and all the school staff dipping their toe in and trying this out. And we've had a large number of parents sign up for this communication because we want our information to be easily accessible, consistent, predictable, and optimize the user's experience. So you will find it very much flows like a social media app, right? And you'll have all the information in one stop. So it's not teacher dependent, school dependent, grade level dependent. It's all flowing through Parent Square. We certainly are still having a phased approach. There's more to add, but we have district-wide implementation happening right now. We want to strengthen and expand our community partnerships, nurturing a culture that values positive relationships. We talked about our community supporting our overrides and bonds, and frankly, just our families in general. We're all the community organizations, whether it be faith-based, business, partnership, we're all in this together in Madison. And that is something we don't want to take for granted, and we want to continue to nurture that. So it is something that we measure to make sure that we're keeping track of that. We also want to provide proactive information to parents to build confidence in the district's handling of emergency situations and challenges. So that uptick in confidence is also because of communication. There's several levels of communication with emergency response planning. There's the proactive communication, so families understand that there is a plan and aspects of the plan. Then there's when there is an incident, is the communication timely and accurate? And there's the after communication about why this happened, what happened, and how we follow up. So we have to hit each of those components. Allocating resources, as so many board members eloquently expressed, we are underfunded in the state of Arizona, and there's national challenges and local state challenges that we need to navigate. So in order to provide the Madison experience that our students deserve, we have to optimize student and program capacity at each site with a focus on continuing to push what makes Madison unique and special, our signature programs forward. We need to be strategic for staffing for growth. That as we look at the demographic changes, we know there's a lower birth rate. Where are there pockets that we can strategically staff to grow and not staff ourselves down, right? And then you'll notice we talked about the marketing strategies that are site-specific, the amazing videos featuring the students and the unique experiences. We were talking about the day in the life of a kindergarten, Ms. Goen, and how impactful people need to see and to feel the Madison experience that their children are going to have. We're also keeping an eye on the decrease in student enrollment that's happening around the state and the nation because of the increase of options and the low birth rate. And we know we can only do what we do with our amazing staff, and we got to interact with some of them today. But to attract and retain highly qualified staff members, we need to enhance the onboarding so right away they feel supported. We know also those couple first key years of teaching is so critical to retain our staff members. We are very focused on retaining our classified staff members as well. Partnerships with universities has been instrumental in our hard-to-fill positions. I believe we have one of the lowest contracting out of certified positions anywhere because of these partnerships with universities. We have ongoing job fairs because we don't just hire at one time, as I shared with the board. It is an ongoing process of continually recruiting. And then we also have an implementation of the CARE interview. We're starting with classified staff. So this is one-on-one time with a supervisor and employee, separate from the evaluation process, where you find out how they're doing, what's working, what are their challenges, how can we remove those barriers, what are their plans, are they staying in Madison, and is there some, what would they like for their future, and is there some way we can help them achieve their goals in Madison? So very important. Safety and emergency preparedness. We need to continue to identify, analyze, and resolve problems using effective problem-solving techniques. And this is a major area of focus that we're continuing. We're rolling up our sleeves. Phase 2 includes updated language for drills, which is becoming more common, updated emergency flip charts, so we all have the information right at our fingertips, refreshed classroom emergency buckets, so we have the supplies if we need to shelter in place for a longer period of time. And we're working on the creation of reunification plans should a whole site need to relocate. And ongoing for training for staff. We have response-based training, which is that we give staff options, and they know they also can use some autonomy in regards to keeping themselves and others safe, and they're well trained in that response-based. And then we also have to have new staff training added throughout the year. We have an after-action reporting process that we need to continue, where anytime there is something that happens, an emergency, we meet and we reflect and ask questions on how it went. Were there any vulnerabilities that we can improve upon? It helps to inform our future responses and just get stronger and stronger. Accurate, timely communication in emergency situations have improved tremendously, which is one of the reasons I think there's a higher level of confidence that we have phases of communication when we have a challenge. So we get out information as quickly as we can, but we also make sure that it's accurate. And then we have some proactive student focus tools. So we have a threat assessment process if a student makes a threat to determine the level. And we have something called DESA and Lightspeed. And Lightspeed is if someone types something concerning in a computer, we will get an alert. And those have helped several students. And those are just the key performance indicators on a separate slide because I had so much under safety and emergency. The last is strategic planning. As I said, this is an important leg of the three-legged stool. Cabinet is working right now on implementation of the strategic plan, and each cabinet member has an area of support. So multiple tiered support is that tiered instruction I talked about. Workplace culture and wellness. There is so much going on in there, specifically with the care interviews and the retention of staff and the supported onboarding. Equitable, inclusive, and safe environments. Right now we're focusing on, well, there's so much going on, but for this specific target area, we're looking at emergency response planning. And family and community engagement is AKA Parent Square. So many of our major areas of focus are directly reflected into the priorities of the strategic plan. And what our focus is in cabinet and with leadership is when we allocate the human and fiscal resources that Mr. Thompson talks about, are they aligned to what's important in the strategic plan and not just because we've always done it that way, right? We need to have a laser-like focus on resourcing what is important because we have limited resources. And I want to thank the board for their support of my goals, and I'm happy to take any comments and questions, of course.
Thank you, Dr. Guerin. Board members, questions, comments? Go ahead, Ms. Kazi.
I just wanted to thank Dr. Guerin and just say it is a beautiful thing when your strategic plan aligns with your school integrated action plans and your superintendent's goals. Not only do they align with what is important because they're embedded in our strategic plan and our SIOPs, but also what is we're dealing with in our current, right now. So they're forward thinking. So I thank you. I have a great deal of confidence that meeting the goals that you've laid out will move Madison forward in a very meaningful and tangible way and in a way that our students will see as well as our families and community. Thank you.
Mr. Holcomb.
Yes, I want to thank you for this. I think this is a very good example of what happens in education, and particularly, I believe, in Madison. This is very much an evolutionary process, and I think what you've just presented with the goals and the detail and sort of the integration of the different components of it is next level of what we've had for a long time. And we've been building this some, but I think you've really taken it to the next level. That also gives us a reasonable way that's not just numbers or specific, arbitrary numbers or arbitrary things, but really a system of looking at the goals and how they work and what's going to go into it. And I think that's very useful to us, and I think it actually helps set the culture as well. And so I really thank you for this. I'll be perfectly honest with you, early on, the way we did goals, I almost thought, well, this is just perfunctory. It didn't really make a difference. Okay, or is it things going well? They're not. This creates something that I think is very useful on multiple levels, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Holcomb. Ms. Gresham.
Thank you. I do have a couple comments. One is that I think I mention this all the time, but I think you're the one profession that has so much scrutiny on your results and your compensation and everything. Like, it's so public. So I feel for you there. But I did want to just bring up that when you were talking about student achievement and the middle schools, just to remind everyone that our middle schools are 5th through 8th grade. So they're still so young when they start middle school here, and the tendency is sometimes in middle school to think of them as older and to treat them as just small adults, but they're still so little. So just a reminder of that. It's, even though it's middle school, they're still only 5th and 6th grade, which is I was reminded of all the time when I'm coaching, because some of them, you got 8th graders that are way up here, and then some little 5th graders. So just to bring that back to into focus. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just make a couple of comments. I too want to echo the comments of the board that it is so wonderful that everything is aligned across the district. I hope that the community can see. I hope that our staff can see that none of these things are just done for giggles, that they're all connected in some way. And when they're being asked to do something or lean in on a priority, it's going to show up at the school level and the performance of the, not only of them, but in the performance of the principals and then in administration as well. And it's all linked. I think that's really important. A couple other things around chronic absenteeism. Not only has there been a shift in chronic absenteeism since the pandemic, but a lot of these issues like chronic absenteeism or underperformance are also linked to socioeconomic status. So I think we have to be very cognizant of the fact, especially in these times now when there's a government shutdown, when there could be SNAP benefits that are being withheld, that we could have parts of our Madison community, parents and students, are going to be adversely impacted from that and could have impacts that we might not have control over, but glad that you, Dr. Guerin, and the team are looking at that. Finally, I'm excited next month to hear about our AASA scores, but as a person who has watched this data for over a decade, being in the top 10 is great, but the state performs abysmally. So we should really, I know that that in your own goals and the specifics of the goals, we have a lot of room for improvement, and being in the top 10 is wonderful, but we should aim to be at the top and way outperform the state because the level at which the state performs is not sufficient for to really help our students be economically viable as they move forward into adulthood. But thank you for all your work on this. Thank you for the presentation. Really appreciate the work that you and the team have done. And with that, I will ask for a motion to approve the superintendent's school year 26 goals.
So moved.
I will second.
Motion by Mr. Holcomb, seconded by Ms. Gresham. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item, last item on the agenda is discussion of future meetings. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, our next meeting will be November 18th. We will start with an executive session at 5 p.m. so the board can give some input into cabinet members that are leading budget advisory and interest-based negotiations. It'll be Rose Lane's turn for the school showcase, always quite the popular one. And we will have our main agenda item under Ms. Marshall's department is student achievement state assessment update for Mr. Pienkowski. We will also have first reads and second reads of board. It will be Ms. Marshall's turn for policies. And then on December 9th, we have a board meeting with Simus Elementary as the school showcase. You Make a Difference, Shining Star with Simus and Meadows. We will have some additional policy reads and a public hearing on the district revised budget. So we will have the approval of the budget, and we're going to bring back the demographer, Rick Brammer. So that will be an action-packed meeting, and then all of a sudden it will be January, and it will be time to reorganize for a board.
Great. Any questions or comments regarding future meetings? Hearing none. Oh, go ahead, please, Mr. Holcomb.
Yeah, just, and I just say this, the November 18th meeting is, while we have some first reads, those don't take very much time. We have the second read in policies, but no real action items. I was wondering, again, the information items that we have come forward, if there's a program or something we could feature there, I think that if it's not overloading the meeting, the state assessment update is important, but it'd be nice if there's something that you think would be appropriate to feature there.
Okay, I will explore it.
I mean, that's up to the board if we think, but the more we get that, I think that's one of the most useful things we have at the board, for me personally.
Oh, can I comment on that? Because I noticed that there was going to be an update on the Native American program, but then it was crossed out. So I don't know if we're going to bring that back at a later date, but I would appreciate if we still have that at some point.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't know if we want to do that, if that works with Scott's comment or not.
Ms. Marshall and I can talk about it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
I second that we adjourn.
Motion made by Ms. Causey, seconded by Ms. Gresham. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Meeting adjourned.